Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today we're back on Fat Fanny, our fat fendered 47 Ford. Today we're going to be looking at the layout of the seats, particularly the back seat. We've got a lot of figuring out to do on how exactly to get these Dodge Shadow seats to fit here in this 1947 Ford. So this will be fun. Come check it out. I'm Mike and you're watching Mike R. Shop. We're dealing with the funk of 40,000 years in here. We have our windshield wiper that needs to be installed, our rear view mirror that needs to be installed. We have the front windshield frame back there that needs to be installed, and there's some work to do with that. A bunch of other miscellaneous things. But for the most part, it's just grimy and dirty from what it was when I repaired and fixed all of these floors and painted everything. And, well, we just need to do some general cleaning, and then this cavernous space back here is where we're going to try to fit the back seat. So let me show you what that looks like. Here they are. So this is the back seat. It was a fold-down back seat in the Sundance Shadow that this came out of. This is a manual seat, and of course, in the vehicle itself, the driver's seat is there, and that's a power seat. And we Captain Caveman that in several years ago just so it wasn't flopping around in the car, but it's not in properly. So we've got a job of work to get these seats mounted. But first and foremost is I want to start with the back seat and determine how this is going to fit, what we're going to need to do to get it to fit properly. They need to be cleaned again. I had them professionally cleaned, but that was 20 years ago. So they need to be done again. But no big deal. Mice haven't eaten anything, so that's good. Everything is in good shape yet. It just needs a good scrubbing. But let's get some dirt out of the car itself first, and then we'll work on piecing in those seats back there and see what needs to happen. Okay, so we're just going to start with a little broom in here and just broom everything forward, and we got lots of parts in here to clean up, but I thought this was a good place to start. I want to get this cleaned up, partly because there's 20 years of mouse crap in here. And Becky and I are going to be doing the wiring on this car, finishing the wiring on this car real soon. She actually brought it up the other day and said, hey, we need to schedule a time. Let's get that done. So we did schedule a time. So that's cool. But again, we have the funk of 40,000 years, and we have squirrels that have been in here because we have walnut shells and all kind of stuff. So we just want to do a little bit of a job of improving our situation and making it a little more pleasant for a girl to work in here. We may even throw some paint down. But we'll probably go after it and see what we can do to get it a super fast and super easy way to make it super clean. Here we go. We got 2/3 of it done. Now we just need to do the back seat over there. We'll get that done here in just a minute. But there must have been 50 walnuts down in the quarter panel down here. So yay for that. But it's all right. So let's get this stuff cleaned out over here now and take a gauge on what we're going to do next. I'm thinking we may just get a bucket of soapy water with some super clean and just scrub her down and be done with it, and then just vacuum it and blow it dry. But maybe we'll make that the end of the day so that it has overnight to dry. I'm not sure yet. There we go. That's significantly better. It's not perfect, but it's improved. So we will go further with it, but not right now. So I think the next step that I want to do is the armrests are in here the way they installed. I'll show you that real quick. They hang on there's a slot back here on the back that goes into the fender there like that. Okay, so that goes in there. Then there's a hook right here that goes into a hole in the body right there. So they just pop in like this and fall down into place like so. And then there's a screw down here ultimately. So there's upholstery that goes down here. This gets upholstered. And then there's a door panel that goes from back there up to here. And a door, like a card that goes down to the bottom down here. So you can see that maybe better on that side. So anyway, upholstery goes around the wheel well, or it gets painted, whatever I decide to do, but I think I'm going to upholster it. And then there's a door card that we have to make, or a panel card that'll go from way back there all the way up to here and down and around. and back up underneath that door handle or that armrest. So let's get the back seat in as far as just setting in place, so we can start cogitating and pogitating what we want to do. Let's start with the seat back first, I think. So my thinking is the seat will go up higher. I can't show you and do it at the same time, but the seat will go up high enough that I can screw, needs to go over this way just a little bit. I can screw to the back. There's a steel frame that goes across the top of the back of this seat. I can screw a couple of little hooks so that the seat back is going to hang right on there. So maybe that's the place to start, is to get this thing hanging well here in position, as a starting point. We can put brackets down here at the bottom to hold the bottom of the seat in and so forth eventually, but let's measure this out on where those need to be, and then let's see if we can make a quick couple of, even if they're just temporary brackets, just to hold that there in place. So what's going to happen is the seat will be level across here from this edge probably, and then it'll come up and hump just a little bit, but we can cover that up with the upholstery or the carpet we're going to put in the back window, so I'm not too worried about that. So what I'm determining is that the plastic piece pretty much lines up with the rivet, so if I just come over a little bit and make a little hook to go on the back of the seat to hold that in place, that should get the job done for now. And I don't have to make it nearly as wide as that, so it'll give us some cushion. This may not be the permanent solution, but it'll be the temporary solution anyway to just get this kind of in place where I want it. Oh, now it stays. Okay, a little bit of ham and egg here, but I'm just trying something temporary for now. There's a channel right in here, so I'm going to come up at an angle and then bend these tabs down straight. They'll have to be cut off. If this works, we will likely make something a little bit better, but the concept will be there for now. And for my determination, where this is going to bend over here, and then we'll make that come straight down. That should fit into the slot in the back edge of that car. It'll need some tweaking. I'm not worried about that, but I'm just trying to do a proof of concept and get this seat hung in place so that we can see, what needs to happen for the next step. So we'll drill some holes and get some screws in there, hopefully, and then we'll go from there. So I've got them bent now, not Brent. I've got them bent, and I can add another screw in here once I prove this concept works. These may be just a bit too long, but I'm not worried about that right now. This is proof of concept, so all details. But I think we should be able to clear now into the bracket. I have room to wiggle this back and forth. That's why I don't want the screws in there yet. I'm sure we'll need something more substantial than this ultimately, but if I can make templates like this, then I can make something out of a heavier gauge steel like 16 gauge. So proof of concept is great. It's too high. It needs to drop down about 2 inches, which is fine. No problem at all. So we'll pop that back out of there, make some tweaks. I'm liking it though. I'm really liking it. And I even thought about just backfilling this panel and making it flat, but I kind of like the curvature of it. And I don't mind there being a little hump in here behind the seat. So right now our seat top is pretty much level there. I may change my mind, but I think I want this to come down just a little farther. A little high yet, but I can live with that. I can probably also just knock it down a bit more, but we're only looking to get ballparks right now. We can measure things out better as we go forward. So the next thing I want to do now is get the seat bottom in here. That's going to be a challenge to figure out how to attach that. I don't even remember how it went in the Sundance or the shadow it came out of. It's been so long since I tore that car apart, but we'll figure it all out. No big deal. Sometimes the way things work is just frightening. So it fits in there really well. And I looked and I found how they go. There was bolts in here. And these darn brackets from the original seat literally line up. Can you believe that? That one's off just a little teeny bit. But we will be able to modify this or do something to it to get it to work. Now, people are going to say, well, that doesn't look very good down there. Yeah, it doesn't, but there's a simple solution for that, and that would be to put a corner board in here or something along this line on this edge to fill that I'll figure that out. Again, it's all part of just using stuff and hot rodding. So the next step now, boy, that just blows my mind how good that worked out. And I want to be clear, I'd thrown this in the back here before, but I'd never really looked at how I was going to mount it. It was always, I'll figure it out later. So the next thing now is we have to fill these pieces over here. And I had an idea on that. There's more pieces that go with this. So let's go get those and see what we can do. So these are the pieces that were bolted into the car. I was hoping maybe we could use them, but I'm skeptical as I'm looking at it. They would go something like this. Let's see, and like this. Not saying it's not usable. Matter of fact, maybe it's more usable than I realize. We would have to do some creative stuff, which means maybe losing the armrests. I really don't want to do that. We could make some wood form stuff to go in there, or we could create something else to go in here that would fill this completely and kind of melt into the armrest. I'm not sure what we want to do there, but I had thrown this back here from the perspective of just seeing what it would look like with no concept or no mind to how it would go in. So putting that seat back in first was key, because before it wouldn't stay up and I couldn't get this down to realize how close those were going to line up there. I really am liking the way this looks. Got to think about how I want to do this. I may not use these pieces. I may make a couple of upholstered foam pieces that would match the contour of the car perfectly and blend in there somehow. I don't know. I kind of like the way that would fit together in some ways, but it's just, yeah, it's not ideal with these holes in here that I don't think we're going to be able to compensate for. So, bummer. But overall, I mean, not too shabby. I have this carpet also. Got it at, I'm not even sure where, but I've had it for so long, and it's not enough to do the whole car, I don't think. Oh, maybe it is. There's a lot there. That was my intention, though, was to use this carpet, glue it down in here, like so. I don't even mind if this is visible here, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I got to think about that. Maybe this carpet would work good for the back window. I don't know. Lots to think about and ponder, but I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to leave this carpet in here, and I'm going to get the other seat and put in here now, and we'll talk about that. So I just threw the seat in here real quick, and it's not bolted at all. The way I did the one on the other side, I don't like it at all, and I need to redo it. It's going to come out when Becky and I do the wiring anyway, but there is one bolt hole here that will go. The problem is I think the seat is actually really low in the car, and short people probably won't even be able to see over the dash. So I think that seat probably needs to come up about 6 inches. So in some ways that will make it really easy, because we can make an adapter frame to get it to the car on the floor. That one over there is a power seat, and it raises up and down. But you can see I just did it with blocks of wood and things temporarily to try to get it to work. Not real crazy about the way that turned out. So we'll see what we're going to do on that one. I don't know, but one step at a time. I wished I had the original seat riser out of this thing. It would make life easy, but it was absolutely rotted into the ground, and I don't have it. I tossed it because it was so bad. And as promised, last but not least, I just hosed it down with super clean. We're going to get a bucket of water, hose it out real quick, and then vacuum that up and just let that dry for a while. But yeah, progress. I'm going to get a scrub brush and sprushy too, of course. There we go. We'll let that dry, and maybe we don't even need to spray it anymore. It's just like a speckled, because it's got primer spots and all kinds of stuff from painting the car. This was done long before the car was ever painted, but I'm liking that. I'm going to leave the seat out for now. This seat, just leave it over here. But I got to ponder more and I got to think more about how I'm going to do that. And I've definitely got ideas on this back here. So that's exciting. Yeah, it's really exciting. Woohoo! In the last 4 years, we have made huge progress on this car by getting the front clip painted and getting it put on, getting the wiring done, taking care of some of the minor engine stuff like the Whistler carburetor, and then this spring, getting the grill painted and put on the car. Getting this interior stuff figured out and on its way to being done and then completed, it's going to be a complete game changer on this car because it's no longer going to feel like a project. It will look like a completed car. Remember, we're not doing the hood at this point. We're just leaving it alone. We're going to drive it without the hood for a while. So that's just set aside. That's honestly, to do the hood is a couple week project. It won't take a lot of time to get it done. But I just really, honestly, I like the car just like it is right now. It feels like a nice hot rod. All the ones I see have a hood on them, which is fine. But for some reason, I just really like this car just like this. So obviously driving it in the rain is kind of a problem with it like this. But anyway, so we are coming close. And as I said, Becky is planning to spend a weekend with me here real soon to try to get the wiring finished up. So I'm excited about that. We've got a transmission oil pan leak that just started a couple weeks ago. We got to take care of. We're not far from having this car ready to go on the road. Looking at the list over there, we got to get the brake lights figured out. We got to complete bolting on fenders, running boards, body mounts. We got to mount the fuel cell. We got to mount those seats, door panels, and a speedometer cable, which isn't necessary. I think we got to blow a hole through the frame to get the speedometer cable on this Turbo 350 transmission. Anyway, that's it for today. I appreciate you being here. I'm having so much fun working on this car the last few weeks. It's just feeling really good to see it moving forward. So we'll be doing the rear door, not doors, but the rear cards for the upholstery as we figure out what we're doing with the back seat. So that'll be coming soon as well. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Oh yeah, don't forget, it's important. Rock!